Most men were trained to fail, not by women, but by weakness. You were told to impress, to please, to be the nice guy. But that script doesn't create desire, it kills it. Because women don't crave performance. They crave presence. They feel power long before they hear words. This isn't about being cruel. It's about being true. The man who doesn't seek approval becomes the man who naturally commands it. Most men were trained to fail, not by women, but by weakness. You were told to impress, to please, to be the nice guy. But that script doesn't create desire, it kills it. Because women don't crave performance. They crave presence. They feel power long before they hear words. This isn't about being cruel. It's about being true. The man who doesn't seek approval becomes the man who naturally commands it. In this video, we're diving into Machiavelli's dark psychology, how to talk to women in a way that ignites respect, intrigue, and desire without ever chasing it. You'll learn how to use silence, scarcity, and inner authority to flip the dynamic entirely. If you're truly ready to change your life, write in the comments, "I'm ready to change." Because once you make that decision, everything shifts. Stay until the end. This lesson will change not just how you talk to women, but how you move through the world. Here's the first lesson to implement. If you want to completely rewrite how women see you, you must stop performing. Every man who loses power around a woman does it the same way. He abandons himself. He sees her, feels attraction rise, and instantly switches into a new identity. The entertainer, the pleaser, the man who performs. He starts talking faster. He laughs louder. He tries to be interesting. But in that moment, something invisible but fatal happens. She stops feeling his essence and starts feeling his need. Let's make this real. Imagine you're at dinner with friends. A woman you find stunning joins the table. Before she arrives, you were relaxed, laughing, eating, talking freely. But the moment she sits down, you tighten up. You start telling longer stories, adding unnecessary details, trying to sound clever or impressive. You're no longer speaking from truth. You're performing for approval. And that shift is what kills attraction. A woman's instincts are ancient. She doesn't judge your words first. She senses the energy beneath them. Performance radiates insecurity. And insecurity, no matter how cleverly disguised, feels like fear. Fear tells her one thing: he needs me to validate him. And the moment she feels that, she knows she holds the power. Here's what Machiavelli would have whispered in your ear. The man who performs has already submitted, because performance is a confession. It says, your opinion of me decides my worth. And once she feels that, her curiosity dies. The cure is not to act confident. That's just another costume. The cure is to remove the mask entirely. You must learn to sit in the same presence with or without her attention. When you stop performing, you return to yourself, your real voice, your natural rhythm, your grounded silence. Try this in your next interaction. When you feel the urge to overtalk or over-explain, pause. Let the silence breathe. Let her feel your stillness. That calm, Unapologetic quiet communicates what no performance ever could. I'm complete with or without your validation. And that's the paradox. The moment you no longer seek her approval, she starts craving yours. Because the performer begs to be chosen, but the master makes her earn the right to know who he truly is. That's where real power begins. Here's the second lesson you must implement if you want women to respect your value and chase your presence. You must become scarce, not by pretending to be unavailable, but by living a life that makes your attention genuinely rare. Machiavelli once wrote that men value most what is hardest to obtain. It's not just a rule of politics, it's a law of psychology. Scarcity is power because it breeds value. And when you make your time, focus, and energy freely available, you silently declare yourself cheap. Most men destroy their own worth by being too accessible. They text constantly, reply instantly, agree to every plan, and flood women with attention she hasn't earned. They believe consistency equals attraction. But in reality, consistency without boundaries equals emotional bankruptcy. You can't make her crave something she never has to miss. Imagine to men. The first one is always available. He texts her good morning before she even wakes up. He's the emotional safety net, always waiting, always ready. The second man has a full life, a mission, ambitions, and standards. When he speaks, it's because he chooses to, not because he's desperate for attention. Which one do you think she thinks about more when she's alone? The one constantly in her face or the one she has to wonder about? Women don't crave presence, they crave mystery. And mystery is born from selective access. Here's the brutal truth. You can't fake this kind of scarcity. You can't play hard to get while secretly checking your phone every 5 minutes. You must become the man whose life is already so full that your time is naturally limited. You must have your own empire, your craft, your health, your purpose, your circle, and your attention becomes the most valuable currency you possess. Think about this like economics. If everyone can have it, it's worthless. If you can, it becomes gold. Every time you send a message out of boredom, you lower your value. Every time you adjust your schedule to fit hers, you teach her that you are bendable. But every time you delay your response, every time you choose your mission first, every time you let silence work for you, you make your presence expensive. And expensive things are treated with care. Machiavelli would have advised a prince to ration his appearances, to let the people wonder rather than always know. The same principle applies in attraction. When you make yourself slightly unpredictable, you create anticipation, and anticipation is the seed of desire. Think of the last time a woman's message made your heart race because she went quiet for a day. Now reverse that. You become the one who triggers that emotional uncertainty in her. You become the variable she can't control. This isn't about games. It's about gravity. Your energy must be guided by one principle. I move because I choose, not because I need. When your life becomes purpose-driven, when your mission commands your attention, every interaction with you becomes a privilege. And when a woman feels that, when she realizes your attention is not something to expect but something to earn, her entire demeanor changes. She stops testing and starts investing. She stops assuming and starts chasing. Because deep down, every woman wants to feel chosen, but only by the man who doesn't need to choose her. That's the Machiavellian paradox. When your life is already full, your silence becomes magnetic. And when your attention is rare, your presence becomes unforgettable. Here's the third lesson you must master. If you want your words to pierce through her emotions and create tension she can feel in her body, you must learn to use silence as a weapon. Most men fear silence like it's death. They talk to fill every gap, rush to answer every pause, and drown the entire interaction in noise. Why? Because silence exposes insecurity. It reveals who's comfortable in their own skin and who isn't. But Machiavelli would have smiled at this chaos and said, "He who controls the silence controls the scene." Because silence, when used with intention, doesn't weaken your presence. It amplifies it. Imagine this. You're at a bar with friends. She's sitting across from you and the conversation flows. But then a moment of quiet slips in. Most men would panic and scramble to fill the void, cracking a joke, changing the subject, anything to keep her attention. You, however, do nothing. You stay calm, take a sip, and let the silence breathe. Your stillness forces her to feel something, the weight of your presence. In that brief, deliberate pause, something primal happens. She begins to lean in. She fills the silence with curiosity about what you're thinking, what you're about to say, what you're holding back. The silence becomes an invisible pull, a magnetic field between you. This is what I call the strategic pause, the ability to let your silence speak louder than words. It's not passive, it's pressure. It tells her, I'm not here to impress you. I'm here to observe you. That tiny psychological shift changes everything. When she realizes you're not chasing the conversation, she starts chasing your attention. When you don't try to fill every moment, she begins to crave what you'll say next. Your presence gains weight. Your words gain gravity. And here's the paradox. When you say less, she starts hearing more. Every sentence becomes intentional. Every word becomes valuable. You see, most men think attraction comes from constant engagement, but it actually comes from controlled restraint. When you speak less, you force her imagination to work harder, and imagination is the most powerful amplifier of desire there is. Think of the best movies you've ever seen. The tension wasn't built in the dialogue. It was built in the silence. It was in the pauses, the glances, the moments of silence where you could feel what wasn't said. That's how you need to speak. Every pause should make her heart wonder what you're thinking. Try this next time you talk to a woman. When she finishes her sentence, wait 1 second longer than feels comfortable. Hold eye contact. Breathe slowly. You'll feel your heart racing at first. That's your ego panicking. But then watch what happens. She shift her body, touch her hair, or look back at you with a nervous smile. She feel the tension, and she won't even understand why. Machiavelli would have called this rule throughpoise, because power is not in constant action. It's in commanded restraint. The man who can stay silent without anxiety is the man who communicates. I don't need to perform. My presence already dominates the room. And that's the quiet truth of this law. The pause isn't emptiness. It's presence condensed. It's the moment where she stops hearing your words and starts feeling your energy. The man who controls the silence doesn't just hold her attention. He holds her imagination. And once you own her imagination, you own the game. Here's the fourth lesson you must integrate if you want to command a woman's respect and attraction at the same time. You must master the art of calm, immovable boundaries. Attraction doesn't live in agreement. It lives in tension. And that tension comes from two powerful forces colliding: her curiosity and your certainty. Most men destroy this polarity because they're terrified of disagreement. They nod along, smile too much, and bend their opinions just to avoid conflict. They think being agreeable keeps the peace, but it actually kills desire. You've seen this dynamic before. The guy who says yes to everything she says, thinking he's building connection. She says she hates a certain movie. He suddenly hates it too. She mentions her favorite food. Now it's his favorite too. He mirrors everything to stay safe, and in doing so, becomes invisible. But Machiavelli would have called this what it is: weakness disguised as charm. Because the man who refuses to stand for anything quickly falls for everything. You must understand this truth. Women don't test you to be cruel. They test you to see where your limits are, to find out whether you're a man she can trust. Every time she pushes against you, she's unconsciously asking, can I lean on him without breaking him? If your boundaries collapse under her opinions, you answer that question loud and clear. No. Imagine this moment. You're at dinner with her, and the conversation turns sharp. She challenges something you said, maybe about your beliefs, your ambitions, your worldview. Most men would tense up, rush to justify themselves, or retreat into silence to avoid discomfort. You, however, smile calmly and say, I get your point. But that's exactly where I see things differently. Then you stop talking. You hold eye contact, relaxed, unbothered. That moment hits harder than any clever line could because you've just shown her something most men never do: self-possession. Machiavelli would have whispered in your ear, a prince must sometimes stand alone, not to be right, but to remain whole. In modern terms, the man who refuses to betray himself earns more respect than the one who tries to please everyone. Here's why this works so powerfully. When you hold your ground with calmness, not anger, not arrogance, you project emotional leadership. You show that your emotions are not dictated by the environment, and that makes you trustworthy. Because a woman doesn't fall for a man she can control. She falls for the man who can control himself. Boundaries are not walls, they are signals. They tell her, this is where I end and where the world begins. That self-definition is magnetic because it gives her something stable to orbit around. Think about it. A storm is exciting, but a lighthouse is what keeps ships alive. When you embody the calm strength, when you're able to disagree with grace, she feels something she rarely feels: safety inside intensity. You become unpredictable in all the right ways. She doesn't know if you'll always agree, but she knows you'll always be real, and that's what makes you unforgettable. Because the man who stands for nothing fades quickly, but the man who stands for himself, even quietly, becomes the standard she measures every other man against. Here's the fifth lesson you must integrate if you want to make a woman feel deeply connected while still respecting you as a man. You must master the art of controlled exposure, revealing your depth strategically, never impulsively. The performer, the weak man, hides behind perfection. He tries to appear flawless, smooth, uncheckable, without cracks or flaws. He believes showing any imperfection will make him seem less desirable. But that illusion of perfection doesn't make him magnetic. It makes him sterile. Because what truly connects a woman to you isn't your perfection. It's your humanity. Yet here's the paradox. Reveal too much too soon, and you lose authority. Dump your insecurities, your wounds, your chaos onto her lap, and you stop being a man she desires. You become a man she pities. Controlled exposure is the middle ground. It's what Machiavelli would call the strategic vulnerability of a ruler. The king doesn't tell his kingdom every doubt he has, but once in a while, he lets the people see his scars, not as weakness, but as proof of endurance. You must learn to do the same. Instead of hiding your past or bleeding it out and oversharing, you show small glimpses, refined truths that reveal your strength through struggle. For example, if you're talking about ambition, don't say, "I'm afraid I'll fail." Say, "There was a time I did fail, but it taught me what kind of man I never want to be again." That single sentence carries more masculine gravity than hours of over-explaining. Imagine this in real life. You're walking with her, talking about goals. Most men inflate themselves, list achievements, try to sound grand. You, however, share something true, something you've conquered. You say it plainly, without drama. You pause after, letting your words breathe. That's when her gaze changes, because she feels it. That rare blend of vulnerability and dominance that only self-aware men possess. This is the secret psychology behind controlled exposure. She doesn't fall for your pain. She falls for your ownership of it. It's not about confessing. It's about commanding your own story. Machiavelli would have said, "Reveal not your wounds, but the scars that prove you survived them." Because scars tell a woman something primal, that you've been tested and did not collapse. Every story you tell should serve one purpose: to give her a glimpse of your inner architecture. What you've built, what you've learned, what you've conquered. But never forget, the key is moderation. If you reveal too little, you seem distant. If you reveal too much, you lose mystery. Controlled exposure is balance incarnate. It's like light through stained glass, enough to reveal beauty, never enough to blind. When she feels that subtle truth, that you trust her with a piece of your story, but not the whole kingdom, she feels chosen. And the moment she feels chosen, she begins to chase deeper access. That's when you stop being a man she talks to and become a man she wants to understand. Remember, mystery without emotion is cold, and vulnerability without boundaries is weak. But when you merge the two, when you speak with depth and control, You ignite the rarest emotion of all, reverent desire, because she won't just want to know you, she wants to earn the right to. Here's the sixth lesson you must absorb if you want to embody the kind of power that makes women feel both safe and magnetically drawn. You must master the dark art of non-reaction. This is the moment that separates ordinary men from the ones who live in a woman's mind long after the conversation ends. Most men crumble under emotional pressure. When a woman gets frustrated, teases, withdraws, or tests him, his entire emotional system collapses. He mirrors her chaos or rushes to fix it, thinking peace equals progress. But Machiavelli would have said, "He who reacts first loses power." Because the moment your emotions become dependent on hers, you've handed her the crown. You must understand, emotional control isn't coldness. It's containment. It's the ability to feel everything, yet reveal nothing that betrays your center. Picture this. You're out with her, and she suddenly throws a curveball. Maybe she mocks a comment you made or goes quiet after a joke you thought landed. The average man scrambles. Did I say something wrong? But the man of presence leans back, smiles faintly, and lets the silence stretch. He's not playing a role. He's simply unshaken. That tiny act, that refusal to flinch, flips the entire dynamic. Because at that moment, her subconscious asks, why isn't he reacting? What does he know that I don't? Your calm becomes mysterious, and mystery breeds attraction. Non-reaction doesn't mean ignoring emotion. It means absorbing it without letting it dictate your behavior. If she's angry, you don't try to calm her. You listen, you acknowledge, but your body remains still, your tone even, your center intact, breathing steady. She feels that steadiness, and it grounds her. This is the masculine polarity most women crave, but rarely experience. The man who can hold space without being swept away by it. Because when you stay calm through her storms, she realizes something profound. You are the anchor she didn't know she needed. Machiavelli would have called this the quiet throne. It's the power of the ruler who governs not through noise or force, but through certainty. Think of the contrast. A man who reacts emotionally sends one message: you control me. A man who stays centered sends the opposite: I control the moment. Attraction thrives on polarity, her waves. Your stillness. When you hold that balance, every emotion she throws becomes fuel for deeper connection. Your calm doesn't suppress her emotion. It magnifies it. Because she feels safe to express herself, knowing you won't break. This is the essence of masculine mastery, not dominance through words, but through equilibrium. You stop chasing approval and start embodying gravity. So the next time she tests your patience, withdraws her warmth, or floods you with emotion, don't flinch. Let her feel your stillness. Because when a man can absorb her chaos and remain unmoved, she stops trying to control him and starts wanting to surrender to him. Here's the seventh lesson you must understand. If you want your words to linger in a woman's mind long after you're gone, you must stop talking like a resume and start speaking like a revelation. Most men talk in bullet points. Their job, their car, their achievements. But facts don't create fascination, stories do. A story bypasses logic and goes straight to emotion. It paints a picture, makes her feel you instead of just hearing you. Imagine this difference. The average guy says, "I travel a lot for work." The master says, "Last year, I woke up in a new city every week and realized I'd built the life I used to daydream about as a kid." That line pulls her into your world, not just your words. Machiavelli would have told you, a ruler must control perception, not by force, but by narrative. Your story is that narrative. It should reveal your values, your lessons, and the kind of man you've become, not just what you've done. And when you speak like this with rhythm, with pauses, with reflection, she doesn't just listen, she imagines you. She visualizes your world, and that imagination becomes emotional investment. So drop the empty bragging. Every story you tell should whisper to truths. I've lived and I've learned. That's what separates noise from depth and interest from desire. Here's the 8th lesson you must practice. If you want to keep a woman's respect while still drawing her closer, you must stop chasing the laugh. Weak men think humor is the key to attraction, so they perform like clowns desperate for approval. They measure success by her smile, her chuckle, her reaction. But what they don't realize is this. The moment you need her laughter, you've already lost your power. Machiavelli would have said, "He who seeks applause is already a servant," because when you talk to entertain instead of to express truth, you turn yourself into her entertainer, not her equal. Real charm isn't about making her laugh. It's about making her feel. You can still be funny, but your humor must come from ease, not effort. It must sound like a man enjoying himself, not auditioning for validation. Imagine this. You're with her, and she teases you. The insecure man overreacts, tries harder, cracks jokes to win her warmth back. But the man of presence simply smiles, pauses, and says, "You'll have to do better than that." That single line, calm, confident, playful, carries more magnetism than 10 jokes combined. The power of this principle is simple. When you stop trying to impress her, you start to influence her. Because the moment you withdraw the need to be liked, she begins to seek your approval instead. So speak less with purpose. Smile when it's natural. And when the silence comes, hold it without fear. Because silence held with confidence is louder than any punchline and infinitely more seductive. Here's the 9th lesson you must live by. If you want lasting power in every interaction, you must stop trying to earn value and start embodying it. Everything we've discussed, scarcity, silence, non-reaction, storytelling, means nothing if your self-worth still depends on her response. Because no strategy can save a man who secretly doubts his own power. Machiavelli would have whispered, "A kingdom cannot be ruled from borrowed strength." And that's the truth. If your confidence comes from her approval, she owns your throne. You must build value from within, not the loud, external kind, but the quiet conviction that your life already has purpose, a mission that fuels you, a direction that grounds you. When your world is full, your attention becomes a rare currency, and she feels it instantly. Think of it this way. A man chasing validation moves like wind everywhere, yet belongs nowhere. A man anchored in self-mastery moves like gravity, silent, steady, impossible to ignore. So stop performing, stop seeking, stop bending. Every second you spend proving yourself is a second stolen from building yourself. When your mind, body, and mission align, you don't have to convince anyone of your worth, they feel it. That's the dark core of this entire art. Presence over performance, conviction over approval, purpose over need. And once that shift happens, the chase ends and attraction begins. This is where everything shifts. When you stop performing and start embodying, the world bends around your presence. You no longer chase connection, you command it. From today, walk with quiet certainty, speak with intent, move with purpose, because once you master yourself, there's nothing left to prove, only power left to express. You're not just capable of more, you're built for it. If this opened your eyes, and you're serious about becoming the man who's in full control of his life, my book is now available. The Undeniable Man, Built to be Chosen, is a strategic guide for men who want to attract, lead, and dominate in their love life and beyond. Whether you're single or in a relationship, no fluff, no tricks, just pure, powerful strategy that will set you apart from 99% of men, and that you will actually use every day. The link is in the description. And if this video spoke to you, don't just keep your thoughts in your head. Write a comment, even just a few words. It helps you remember these lessons, and it might help someone else too. Hit the like button if you enjoyed this content, and share it with someone who, in your eyes, needs it right now. Just trust your instinct. We're all trying to get clearer, more solid inside. So let's build minds that don't break.